Guys, get excited. We've got LiveNOW's one and only Mike Pache in here. We are going to get started in 4 minutes. Celeste Rodriguez and Steve Nielsen will be joining him. We're going to talk about Iran. We're going to talk about the Hantavirus. We've got some great guests, some that'll try to be as good as Mike Pache, but you know that won't happen. So go ahead and like this video, share it with your friends and family. Let's get it going, guys. Fox 10 Talks. We'll start soon.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome on in. This is Fox 10 Talks, and if you're watching on Fox 10, good morning to all of you. Maybe you're watching on Fox local app. Nice to see you as well. Or maybe you are on YouTube, and welcome on in.
As Celeste furiously presses buttons over here.
And they do nothing. But if we can go to live shot, Brian, that would be amazing, my friend.
There we go.
Oh, here we go.
There's this fun button clicker you've got here, and while you were talking there,
right there.
This is the beauty of Celeste. You're so talented at what you do. No one on the other side of that screen thought you were doing anything but just frantic button pushing while you're casually bringing us
the next thing coming was me doing this. Remember that? you know that game at yes, whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
Thank you, Big Dave. It's like, you're just hitting it. You're like, come on, do something.
And you feel like you got all of them, and then you find out you got like 2 points in the end.
I know.
Yeah.
You're like, what was that for? I'm wasting all these tokens and getting nothing.
I'm happy we're finally going after the whack-a-mole industry.
Yes, thank
It's
you.
about time.
Thank you.
Gotta stand up to them.
We also have Mike Pache here from
Good to see you
LiveNOW.
guys.
Nice to see you,
Good
my
to see you.
friend.
Yeah,
You
happy
guys
to be
have
here.
been busy. We were just chatting here, and you can throw your thoughts in. Hi, everyone on YouTube, by the way. Darla Nicole, Thomas Favala. Nice to see all of you. Louis Gonzalez. And we're glad that you're here. You guys have been covering the LA mayoral race that's happening today.
So that's going to be a big thing to look at this afternoon and tonight, of course, when the results start to trickle in. But I mean, talk about Spencer Pratt, who is a lot of people saying running this great campaign.
Yeah.
I mean,
He is.
He's really getting it on social media as far as the videos and getting the outreach out there. But we'll see if it's enough to continue going.
I mean, you talk about that. So much of running a campaign, especially at a mayoral level, where you're just trying to get noise, right? You're not running for governor. You're not running for Senate. It's a mayoral election. Even in LA, that's not going to get that much buzz out there. You have to do something to make noise. His power washing of the sidewalks.
Yes.
With the stencil saying this is how dirty our streets have gotten.
Yeah.
Genius.
And you know what's
Genius.
interesting? You mentioned it, Mike, earlier, and Steve, you may have heard him. He said, he was on, what was it, The Hills?
Yes.
He was on the show in 2004 or something like that. And you're like, what has he done? Like, what has he been up to? It's only in LA will you find, him, Arnold Schwarzenegger, even Ronald Reagan was in Hollywood of some, in some fashion. That's the city. That's the state where you find celebrities can actually, become politicians.
And when you say that, you don't think of Spencer Pratt as LA's celebrity.
Right.
So it has been interesting that he's been able to make this much waves when he's really, before all this, a B-list, C-list celebrity.
Sure. And I mean, if
He's going to be sad when he hears that you said that,
I know.
Steve.
I know. I feel bad. I like the guy, too. I feel bad.
If it wasn't for the devastating Palisades fire, he wouldn't be running because that really sparked a thing with him.
It really did.
If you remember early on in the Palisades fire, he was heavy on social media saying, okay, they're not doing this, where, and just showcasing upcoming clips, and then he loses his home as well.
I know.
And that was, I think, his first promo he put out there was the camper he was living in on his property, which I think he still lives in that. Is that correct? I don't know.
Yeah. That was his ad, I remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
A really powerful ad because he's trying to do sort of these tongue-in-cheek moments, like I mentioned with the power washing, but then when you mix it into, I'm living in a camper because my house burned down.
Was it an Airstream? Was that what it was?
It was.
Yeah. So technically, it was kind of glamping.
He's still a celebrity.
But that is the LA way.
Yes.
All right, we are talking about some big headlines happening here in Arizona as well, and some of you actually live in Mojave County, the Hantavirus case that took place out that way. So let's show you some video and get you the details on what we're hearing here. There has been a reported death from a deadly strain of Hantavirus, different strain here that we're talking about than the outbreak on the cruise ship last month. So a lot of people pretty concerned about this. The one on the cruise ship was an Andes Hantavirus. This one is interesting name. It's called the Sin Nombre strain, which is without name strain. That's what it says means in English if you translate from Spanish. Mojave County health officials, they say that the strain doesn't spread from person to person. So I guess that is kind of the silver lining on it,
is the fact that this like a lot of the hantavirus, where it begins is through the air from mouse droppings, rodent droppings specifically.
Right.
And they say when you clean all of this up, so if you've got, and they want you to do this, they want you to go clean up any mouse droppings that you have in your, attic or wherever you can find them, but don't sweep. Sweeping is a terrible idea because it just kicks all of that up. They want you to spray bleach on it first and then wipe it up. with gloves and a mask and all of that, because if you just sweep it, which I think all of us instinctually do, that's the worst case scenario because it just you breathe it in.
Yeah, so true. And I feel like this is now the second wave that we've been hearing about the Hantavirus. The second, of course, was with the cruise ships.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you look back a couple years ago, the first one, when Gene Hackman died, he died of Hantavirus.
That's
Did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that was when the cruise ship stuff started to happen. I said, that sounds familiar. And then, you look back, that's what he died of.
And his wife as well.
And his wife in that home in New Mexico, because he was dealing with dementia, I think, and I don't think they were moving around much, so they were just in the midst of probably stuff that was inside the home.
I think that when you bring up a good point, Mike, I think when authorities went to the property, they found rodents kind of all throughout the property as well. It's really sad.
I'm happy we brought this up, though, because it's a reminder there's a lot of fear about Hantavirus right now after the cruise ship, that it's always been out there. This is something that's always been there. It's very hard to transmit. It's not something to be terribly worried about. But if you do get the C. nobrae virus, this is unbelievable. The mortality rate on that is 35 to 50%.
Yeah, it's a big number.
Huge.
Big number.
Wow.
Nearly half the time, if you get this, you die. I mean, that's
So
wild.
they think that maybe they don't know how this person contracted the Hantavirus, this strain C. nobrae. But they think maybe, think of all the windy conditions we've had across the southwest part of the country.
Yeah.
They don't know if it was like the wind that kind of like maybe blew it up in the desert, and it was, maybe some of the Hantavirus was in the dust or something like that. They just don't know yet.
Those dust storms can kick up so much. We talk so much about valley fever and the fungus that kicks up, especially for animals and everything. But there's things like that in our dust too.
Yeah, valley
so
fever.
It's something to keep in mind. If a haboob comes, big dust storm comes, get out of it.
Yeah,
I think there's this feeling of wanting to be outside and getting cell phone video of it and
Be
kind
the
of
brave
coughing a little
one, you know
bit.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not worth it. I mean, the chances of you getting something are there. They're real.
Yeah, all that dust, not good. Not good.
No, and a lot of times our daughter actually had valley fever. And we were in the hospital over Christmas. It was a year and a half ago.
Oh, gosh.
And it was pretty scary. We were at PCH for 5 days. But what they said was most of us actually get valley fever or carrying it, but our immune systems are strong enough to fight it off at the so we don't really know that we even had it. And then your body has the antibodies to fight it off. But it's if you have that, and she had a respiratory illness, those two combined really kind of set her up. So, but it's like one of those things that if you're a healthy individual, you're probably going to be okay. But you still have those haboobs, those dust storms that really whip things up out of the ground.
Yeah.
Boy,
5 days. That would have been scary as a mom in that situation.
Oh, yeah. I was like, it was pretty scary stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's for another moment.
Yeah.
That's
we don't need to get into that right now.
That's for another moment. Let's talk about those. Speaking of dust storms, out in the Middle East, they do get some of those dust storms. Let's talk about what's happening with the war in Iran.
That was a fantastic transition.
Thank you. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best here. But, this is something that we've heard, and Mike, maybe you guys have been talking about, obviously, on LiveNOW, but we've been talking about a deal potentially in the works for a long time.
Yes.
Something's going to happen in a couple days. Something's going to happen. But is it the art of war? Is it the negotiations going back and forth, the art of the deal?
Well, and it is so confusing to watch it from afar because every day it feels like we get something new. Yesterday, we heard that Iran was walking away from this. Ceasefire's over. They're not.
Oh, sorry. Hold on one second.
Hurry for this
We're going to come back, Jess. Go ahead.
Good. He should wait for me. I agree. All right?
Continue on, my friend.
Hold off, Schumer. Hold off.
Hold on. Steve Nielsen's got to talk,
Schumer,
all right?
Simmer.
But yesterday it feels like we heard that Iran walked away. Now it feels like we're relatively close that we're being told.
Yeah.
It's so hard to figure this out. I think the only thing that's clear is that there's no deal yet, obviously.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, every day they say, oh, maybe a couple of more days, maybe a couple of more, stringing it on. I often think, I was like, remember when it first started, they said, okay, it's going to last probably 4 to 6 weeks, right?
Yes.
And then I was thinking, now they're saying, every day, maybe next week, Is this the new COVID stuff from 2020? Just 15 days to slow the spread. 4 to 6 weeks will end the war. I mean, is this where we're at right now?
And then we're like 6 months down the road. All right, let's get to Schumer because he's crying. He wants to talk. All right, here's Schumer.
Really? No hurry? I'll tell you who's in a hurry for this blunder to end. The American people who are getting crushed. by record gas prices at the pump.
All right. Well, we have seen, fortunately, some of the prices start to drop a little bit.
Just a little
Just
bit.
yesterday.
I mean, perspective's important. Yeah. So what is it now? The statewide average, Arizona, $4.65 a gallon. In Phoenix, $4.64. Nationally, it's $4.29. So we're just a little bit above that national number, but that's a few cents lower. So, I mean, anything's nice to be able to get just a little bit lower. You see the numbers there on your screen. You know, I think it's going to take something substantial to get those numbers down much more than that, though. I think we're going to flirt with this number. It feels like we've sort of, on the worldwide level, stagnated on this crisis is creating this level gas price.
Yes.
Because we have not seen a big surge in the last month. It's just sort of been hovering right around these numbers.
Yeah, you got oil still hovering around 93 bucks a barrel. But the surprising thing for me during this whole ordeal with Iran is the stock market is performing still very, very well.
Oh my gosh, you bring up a good point. We're up over, if we're still, I'm taking a glance at it, we're at 51,206. We are now fully on into the green where we were hovering back and forth at opening. It is wild.
I mean, even just a couple of weeks ago, President Trump said that he thought during this war that it was going to drop the market, 10 to 15%. Not even close. It didn't happen.
It is. I've talked with a lot of people about this, and you think it's just great news, right? Stock market goes up. That's good for everybody.
Yeah.
It is a really worrisome thing for a lot of people because it just feels like the economy is out of whack.
Right.
There is a massive disconnect in what's going on in so many facets of our lives.
Yeah, and here's a look
that's
at
kind of that makes you a little worried when you see that.
Well, yeah, because it's looking more like it's so tech heavy, the market right now with NVIDIA and others. You got Micron and that they're performing so well, but what happens when they don't?
I know.
Is that all just going to cry?
Dun, dun, dun. Hold that thought, Mike.
Yep.
We got to take a quick break. Here is a look at the Dow right now. Here is a quick glance at your mystery camera. We'll come back to this at 10:30. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back, everyone. All right, welcome back, everyone. Mics are hot, gentlemen. Mics are hot.
Always good to get that warning.
And this is your mystery camera this morning. It's a quick little glance at it. Go ahead and throw your guesses in the chat here in about 5-7 minutes, and we're going to do the big reveal at 10:30 this morning. Welcome back, everyone. We were just talking about the stock market, and Mike, you were chatting about the fact that it is pretty wild when you look at all the tech companies that are on fire.
Yeah, I mean, it's so right now AI driven, where it's the hot new thing that between AI, the data centers, and all the microprocessing chips that are going around with this, that it's in a surge right now. But you just wonder how long that could last.
And that's a terrifying thought.
Yeah, right.
Because if that doesn't last, we get a couple of bad headlines. The bottom drops out. The housing market is weird right now. There's so many weird things that you get worried there. At the same time, I feel like we've been talking about this for a couple of years now, where, oh boy, next month the bottom's going to drop out, and it hasn't.
Yeah, I know.
So.
And it just seems like when you have these earnings like NVIDIA that just had another blowout earnings where, again, I think Akelshi, the day before earnings, they were priced in at 99% odds that they were going to beat guidance again, and which they did. I mean, it's just like it's like a sure thing now for them. But what happens when it doesn't?
Yeah,
Yes.
no kidding. We're going to go to Dr. Oz. He's actually speaking this morning. Let's go live and listen in here. He's in D.C.
With the president on this topic. We're now up to about 12 million unique visitors to the site. Estimated savings are about $500 million, and again, climbing rapidly as more Americans learn about the program. And it is our great hope and belief that the average American, before they make a purchasing decision for a pharmaceutical product, will start using TrumpRx.gov as a standard, as a baseline, to take advantage of something that's been given to. Again, there's no money made from this site. The government does not charge money to people using this site. It's an opportunity for you to be empowered. That stated, I want to add to that one additional insight that some of you would like to hear, which is that starting on July 1st, the patients beneficiaries on Medicare who are eligible for GLP products, the weight loss products that the president speaks of frequently, will be allowed to obtain those products for $50 a month. Now, the list price, as you know, for a lot of these drugs is well over $1,000 a month. We've been working hard to push down on these prices to make sure that these medications, which can be life-changing and even life savings because of their impact on weight loss and downstream complications like diabetes and hypertension and all the things that they cause, like kidney failure and heart disease and strokes and dementia, even cancers, all those risk factors are going to be mitigated, we believe, if these medications are used correctly. And so when doctors prescribe them, Medicare beneficiaries will be able to obtain them for $50 a month. And we are hopeful that over the next few years we will show an actual savings to the American taxpayer if these medications are used correctly and appropriately and consistently, so folks get the weight loss they desire with the downstream benefits that I mentioned earlier. I also want to touch briefly on the crushing of fraud, waste, and abuse made possible by the Vice President's anti-fraud task force. The White House task force has been aggressively going after an all-of-government approach. I'll speak personally as the person charged with the Medicare and Medicaid services. When we identify, by looking at the data, which we have plenty of, that there's an aberrancy in how these bills are coming into us, so there might be fraud there, it's incredibly empowering for us to quickly call the Office of Inspector General or the FBI, the Department of Justice, and to have Todd Blanche call back and say, here's what we're going to do about what you just observed, or call Scott Besson at Treasury and say, we need forensic accounting. Something is going on here.
All right, you are listening to Dr. Oz there in D.C. He's talking about Medicare, Medicaid, and now Trump RX. And so, of course, if you want to continue to watch that, we have that for you. But we'll kind of dip in and out and see if anything, big comes out of some of these discussions there at the White House today. We also this morning want to get to our poll question at this hour. We've been talking a lot about gas prices, grocery prices. The price of an education is expensive as well. Is a four-year college degree really worth the price tag?
It's a wonderful question. And especially if you are a parent and considering helping a child through college right now, it's this hot topic in mind. And for all of us, anyone who's got student debt, you might be looking at this question and thinking about this a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Fox10phoenix.com/poll. And then, so no, it's way too expensive running away with this. 67%. Depends on the major, 29%. And yes, it's a great investment. just as a blanket go to college? Only 4%.
Yes, it's a great investment, especially if you go to ASU and you get to party a lot. No, we both went to ASU, so
That's
we
right.
say
Come
that.
on. You mean U of A, where they just do whatever down there?
That is actually true. We're big Sun Devil fans here. The numbers are actually shifting, though, so big thank you to everybody. You can scan the QR code there, and you can vote, share your thoughts with us as we watch some of these numbers really shift. We're going to go to our YouTube poll now. 1.2 thousand votes on this one in just the last 2 hours. So lots of folks, have strong opinions on this one. 59% say no, it's way too expensive. 33% say it depends on the major. And this one, it's aligning. Big D. It's aligning, which we don't see often.
Yeah, we don't see it often, but man, what a fascinating just result. I can't believe it. On both polls, such small amounts of people think college is a great investment. J. Pablo 700 says it definitely depends on the degree, school, and arguably the greatest factors, the person, location, and drive towards success. Ann Hutchison 5770 says better off as an electrician or plumber, but then one must actually have a work ethic to be successful in anything. MFSEBCW says college degrees still out-earn non-degrees. The ROI has been diminishing, but that has nothing to do with college and everything to do with inflation and stagnant wages. And finally, Harquahala says getting a degree shows a potential employer that you can complete a task. Plus, college is the new high school, and that piece of expensive paper can open many doors. Really interesting comments. Keep them coming, guys.
That's an interesting one on the end there.
That is, yeah. And Dave, you're a Trojan, right? You went to USC.
Yes, sir.
What do you think? Was it worth the money?
I mean, I think so, but to each their own. It depends on what they're going after. I loved my time at USC. I know you guys loved your time at ASU. I'd recommend it, but it's getting way more expensive every year.
Oh my gosh, USC! How do your parents feel about that? Did they foot the bill? I mean, it's pretty pricey.
We got very lucky with financial aid.
Oh,
and,
great!
But God bless for that.
All right, go Trojans! We're rooting for you as well.
I don't know if we can do a Go Trojans on a show I'm hosting. I don't know. That felt icky. Love you, Dave.
I'm okay if it's a different state.
All right.
Like, I'll go for the Huskies in Ronstadt at UW. He's probably watching right now.
Yeah.
Because it's not in Arizona.
Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore, so they aren't competitors. So
that's so true. That's so true. We actually have a very special story to bring you. Amy Galo, she's been covering what's happening in Fort Myers Beach, Florida, and with hurricane season kind of approaching. Amy, can you hear us? Good morning.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, speaking today about Hurricane Ian and its lasting impact on Fort Myers Beach, and how we're also now seeing this island also recovering from 2 subsequent storms of Helene and Milton. So a lot of recovery here while also preparing for a new season. Hurricane Ian tore through Fort Myers Beach over 3 years ago.
It was all wiped out within 8 hours. It's just gone. Kind of hard to put it into words, but nothing's the same after Ian.
Even now, reminders are everywhere. A broken pier, empty homes, construction, and for sale signs.
You had to just start all over again and go to work.
Gary Foco is the general manager at Moss Marina, one of the first businesses to reopen on the island after Ian.
We had to service the Coast Guard with our gas, so we got gas going by December 1st.
The road to recovery looks a bit different for everyone.
Slowly and surely. They don't make it easy. Trust me.
Just down the street, the Smoke and Oyster Brewery reopened in 2024.
They did a great job here. People are coming back. They couldn't wait. They're so happy. They keep crowding through the door.
Adapting and overcoming.
Nothing worked when Ian hit. A lot of things had to be made different. Different protocols.
But the best piece of advice never changes.
Do all you can do in the 3 days prior to the hurricane and then leave. Go to safety, and you can always come back and fight another day.
The Fox Forecast Center is predicting a below-average hurricane season for Florida, which is happy news to people around here, but it also means we can't let our guard down. It only takes one bad storm. Back to you.
That's so true right there. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter how many storms. We talk about the one storm every season right there. Appreciate that perspective and everything that's going on out there.
Yeah.
Recovering and preparing all at once.
Absolutely, absolutely. When you talk about hurricane season, Amy, what is the outlook when it comes to like all across that southeast part of the country? There's a lot of different states that are probably getting ready for hurricane season.
Lots of states getting ready right now. You know, I think of cities like Houston, right, and Texas. Louisiana is always a big one to look at for storms. And then Georgia and parts of the southeast we hadn't really seen get that much storm impacts up until recently, last year, right, with Helene and Milton. So lots of places looking out. As for a forecast, all I can tell you it's below average, but that doesn't mean we're not going to be seeing some storms. And that's why we've got to reiterate, hey, it might say below average, but you've still got to prepare and be ready.
All right, Amy Gallo reporting for us this morning in Fort Myers, Florida. Amy, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Stay safe out there. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
We've got some great video to show you.
Yeah.
Do you love the Hawaiian Islands?
I do, of course. Who doesn't?
I know.
How could you not love the
How
Hawaiian
could you not love
Islands?
the Hawaiian Islands?
on.
Like a Mai Tai or something.
Yeah.
If we can roll, Brian, can you roll that video for me if you don't mind? The button's not working. It's VO5.
Are you still doing whack-a-mole over there with the buttons?
I'm about to grab my heel and yeah, but here is video. Thank you, Brian. The USGS giving us this video via Storyful here, and it has been so impressive to watch this thing over, well, I mean, the last many months.
Yes. So this has just been, does it ebb and flow? I don't really know that much about volcanoes. I'm going to be honest. Volcanologist is not on my specialties.
That wasn't an elective you took at ASU?
I did not. I don't even know if ASU offered it. I assume now they do. I don't, volcanologist.
You know what I did take at ASU was golf. And it was one of the
Wait,
best
it was
classes.
a class?
Yeah, it was a class elective.
No one told me about this elective, Celeste. What are you talking about? There was a
telling
golf
you.
elective?
Yeah, there was a golf elective.
How did I miss it? What did you do for golf elective?
Oh, you play golf. That's what you do. You learn the rules and you play a little golf.
Here I was at ASU, just, going through Cronkite News Watch,
Taking
preparing
statistics.
for everything, and you're playing golf.
It was better than basket weaving, I thought.
Underwater basket weaving.
Here is your mystery camera this morning. We're going to take a quick break. Throw your guesses into the chat this morning. We love chatting with you guys. Big kahuna, says Thomas Favela. And we see some of your guesses. We'll be right back. right. Welcome back. Where in the world
Is Carmen Sandiego?
Thank you. I was just thinking of that. Now I'm singing the jingle in my head, Steve.
where?
Well done, buddy. Well done.
Yes.
Where do you think this is? We got some pretty good guesses. Wow, a lot of you have some good guesses.
It's a really hard one to guess because it's so nondescript, especially because it's pointed down like this. You can't even get the horizon. So we're getting a lot of vague guesses here, but I like it. Brandy with Georgia, Deborah Showens, Texas, Thomas Brown's given us Pennsylvania. Thomas Favela, I like this. He's not saying Texas. He's saying Texas toast.
Now
He's
you're-
going right after my food love. And Paul Humphrey saying West Virginia, Maryland from Dave's Camping Adventures.
What are you going to go with, Steve?
Yeah. So do I just do state? I don't have to give you a specific.
You don't have to give us a city, but
Okay.
yeah, state. For sure.
It's a really tough one. You got to go with foliage. You can't even see the sign on the building right there.
Oh, yeah, down below.
But can I go with a wild card guess here? I was
Yeah.
in Charlotte, North Carolina a number of years ago, and that building on the right looks like the entryway to a shopping mall there in
Ooh.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
What did you buy at that shopping mall? Do you remember?
You know, we were waiting for a plane flight. We saw a movie.
They have a theater at
They
the
had
mall.
a theater there, and it was one of those theaters where they served you food and everything.
Nice.
Couldn't tell you what movie I saw.
Oh.
No idea.
Was the food good? You can't remember.
Boy, this is like a 15-year ago thing. I bet the chicken fingers were delicious.
By the way, Charlotte does have a great downtown. We were there waiting for a flight
Love
too. Yeah, you walk through tree-lined streets. Really, really beautiful.
Everything's brand new there. It feels like they built it yesterday.
It does. You're right.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to your comments about whether or not you think college is worth it. We have a ton of you chatting about this on our YouTube chat. So if you're watching on TV or on YouTube or on our Fox Local app, we invite you to join the chat and share your thoughts with us because you guys have some great insights. So I'm going to go with, on this one, I'm going to go with like a... you're going to go with the North Carolina?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the South Carolina.
Really? So
Okay.
you're going with the Carolinas here. I like this. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
let me throw up your cami.
Okay.
There we go.
Here we go.
Oh. What is
Maryland.
that? Maryland. Let me go back to it.
Wow.
You can see it is very green.
It is.
There in the Northeast
That
this
makes
time
sense.
of year.
Is Maryland?
Yeah.
I can believe that.
For those of you who are new to Fox 10 Talks here, this is kind of the spotlight of the show, is our mystery camera.
The mystery camera, again, I said this yesterday, it's really the only reason I work here. I find so much pleasure and joy in trying to guess.
You get paid to guess on the mystery
do.
camera? It's so cool.
It's got to be written in my contract somewhere, some real
my
small
gosh.
addendum.
Yeah. Who's your agent? I got to hook up with that person.
I demanded that when I first signed my
Yeah.
contract with my agent, as
Mystery
I said.
camera?
Mystery cam required.
And MC required.
And by the way, I've done this now many times. I don't think I've ever been correct.
Yeah, I know it's hard. There's a lot. There's
a
lot
big
of,
country.
There's a lot of states, and sometimes we go out of the country.
You know,
Sometimes we go Alberta.
oh, see, that's too hard.
Sometimes we go
Do you
other
think it
parts
would be a
of
good strategy if I just picked a state and eventually it'll be right?
I was doing that on TV. I was just going Indiana, and then I just kept failing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if that's.
And then the one time you switch it, that's when it's Indiana. Yeah.
It's Indiana.
Terre
Many of you
Haute,
have
Terre
really
Haute.
been talking about. We were just chatting about, of course, that I had taken golf in college. You had taken the Beatles.
I took the Beatles and
Beatles.
History of Blues.
And History of Blues. I couldn't get into the Beatles class, so I took Jazz in America.
Okay.
Because Beatles class was full because everybody wants to take the Beatles.
What do you remember from your Jazz in America course?
I remember John Coltrane.
Okay,
That I
all
still
right.
listen to. And it kind of turned me on to like some great jazz clubs in Phoenix at that time.
Well, I love this.
Yeah.
I was kind of being sarcastic asking you that
No,
question.
no.
Nobody remembers
Yeah.
these things, but it actually affected you. I think that's great.
It really did, and I think it helped me broaden. Like I listen to all types of music.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, and many of you, if you want to share your thoughts on what's your favorite type of music, your favorite Beatles song for that matter,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. But it kind of made me broaden my horizons, and I listen to everything,
Yeah.
including Blues Traveler.
Yeah, so I took the History of Blues class, and I forgot that I was taking the blues class. Completely forgot that it was one of the options.
That means he didn't show up to class.
Didn't show up to the class at all. And all of a sudden, the next day, we were supposed to have a ticket receipt from the last blues show we went to.
Right.
I hadn't gone to one, but I remembered a couple weeks prior, I'd seen the Blues Traveler
Yeah.
in concert. So I was like, all right, He's called the Blues
Here's
Traveler.
my ticket.
Let's call it Blues.
And he gave you a grade.
I got a C on it.
Yeah.
So thank you to the professor. That could have been a fail. He should have, in fact, and gave me a C. So I honestly saying this right now might put my whole degree in question.
Well, and I was going to say, we're all sharing this to tell you that college is really worth it. But for so many reasons. But many of you have shared your thoughts on this, and we're talking about trades, and some of you are sharing personal stories about how the trades really helped you find. Let's see, Dave Brousseau in the chat said, I had 2 years at a community college, which is brilliant because we have some great community colleges here around Phoenix, specifically in Arizona, but the nation. And he said, after my military service, best decision I ever made. A couple of other people, he also said, apprentice electrician turned controls engineer. Good morning to you, Dave. And then Brandy the Bookworm said, my son is a low voltage electrician working to get to become a high voltage electrician. So a lot of people talking about the trades and how important they are to the economy. And a lot of people are now saying, hey, this is the way to go because AI can't take over those gigs.
Yeah, and there's a lot of truth, I think, to that. Can we put up the poll results again, by the way?
Yeah,
just
let's
to
go
see
ahead and
where
put
we're
this
at on this. 66% say it's too expensive. Depends on the major for 30%. And just 4% of you think it's a blanket great investment.
Yeah.
I understand that only because I'm not sure it is a blanket great investment.
Yeah.
We hear that Dave Ramsey, I think, was the one who really sort of triggered this whole conversation about
is
student
college
loan
worth
debt.
it?
That being said, if you want to be a reporter and do what we do, Celeste,
Yes.
it is 100% a requirement.
Oh, you have to?
I only know, and by the way, she's one of the best reporters I know. I'll give her a shout out. Kim Kalunian in Providence, Rhode Island. Hi, Kim. One of the best reporters I know. She did not go to school for this, does not have a college degree in this, and she was able to find her lane and make it work, and now she's got a very successful career and does a great job.
Her.
But it's very challenging in this field to do it without a degree.
Absolutely.
And I think that's true of a lot of fields. So if you know what you want to do, I want to be a reporter, I want to be a NASA astronaut,
I want to be an attorney.
I want to be an attorney,
I want to be a doctor.
Then you can justify it, I think, and say, great, I'm going to do it. If you're just getting a degree to get a degree because you're told that college grads make more money, I'm not sure it's worth it. Then.
Yeah, I don't know either. But listen to this Best Colleges survey finding only 33% of students believe their higher education is worth the price. And I think because it's gotten so much more expensive.
That's an alarming number.
As well. 33%. 38% of respondents say they are still on the fence about the value of college. Researchers interviewed about 1,000 students that enrolled in 2024. So these are students that are, were just in a couple years ago or still in. Analysts also found that students have increasing skepticism over whether or not college was for everyone, with close to half of the participants, this is 50%, saying it was not, and most of them being Gen Zers. In 2026, the average student pays roughly $20,000 per year for a public 4-year school and $36,000 annually for a private 4-year school. That is a lot of money.
That is so much money.
Yes.
You've got to know that that's a good return on investment to make that decision.
Yes.
That's tough to recoup that kind of money.
I know.
Right there. And I'll tell you this, my parents were a big factor in paying for my college education. I want to be able to do that to my kids because almost everyone I know has student loan debt. Mom, Dad, thank you. That gift is unbelievable. I also made sure I went to Arizona State and I didn't go to
at USC?
I'll throw, we can throw Dave under the bus at USC. I'll throw my wife under the bus. She went to Syracuse. She could have gone to any school. She was like, I want to go to a private school.
But Syracuse has a great J school. They've got one of the best journalism schools in the country. So does Walter Cronkite at ASU, by the way. I did have school loans, and I eventually paid them off. But my mom was a single mom, and she raised me and my sister on her own, and it was the only option I had. And so it was like, okay, do I want to do this? All right. And after partying hard my freshman year, I was like, I got to get at it because I'm paying for this on my own.
I think I love that you say all that because I think you maybe appreciated those first couple years more than I did.
Yeah.
I think by senior year I was locked in, ready to go. This is what I'm doing.
But you partied the whole 4.
The first, let's say the first 2.
That's okay. It's a safe space. Everybody.
It's not like we're on television or something right now.
No, not at all. But, sometimes we all, you come to that moment in life, I think, where you're like, okay, it's time to grow up. it's time to get going. If you have to pay for it yourself, sometimes it comes a lot sooner than not.
Yeah, and I don't think your story's unique because it's yours, but there's a lot of people that have similar situations where it's just, if I wanted to go to college, that was the deal. I had to pay for it.
Yeah, when and when I think it was President Biden giving away free, the student loans, I was like, hey, I paid mine off. I should have waited. No. Okay, listen to this. We're going to get to this next story here this morning. The one study shows that workers are turning down big raises because they don't want the added stress of the new responsibilities.
Now, this conflicts with the last thing about the college education.
Well,
don't you want more money?
Well, you do, but listen to this.
Okay.
What do you think about hourly workers versus, and throw your thoughts on the chat on this, hourly workers versus salary. So somebody comes to you, Steve, and says, I'm going to make you a manager, but you were hourly before, but you're going to be salary now. You're getting a little bit of a bump. But when you look back at the OT, that you made, is it really worth it? Because it comes with more responsibilities.
Yeah, manager. Now you're doing hiring and firing.
You're walking around,
Yeah.
So the findings are part of a Kick resume survey that was looking into mental health benefits at work. 80% of respondents say their job was responsible for poor mental health. So they're saying it's not just the fact of what they're being paid; it's mentally more strenuous when you receive the raise and you have more responsibilities you're dealing with.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
That being said, the good news is we don't have any of those issues here at Fox 10.
None whatsoever.
We love our jobs here. I'm being kind of fun with that. But no, we really do. And I think that is key to all of this. We hear this, I think, from the current generation and maybe, younger millennials. As I'm an elder millennial, I think I just got the edge of it.
Yeah.
Is that they want to feel like what they're doing matters to justify the mental health, the long work week, all that. You've got to know that what you're doing matters in some way.
Absolutely. And let me give you guys this. Oh, hold on 1 second. We're going to check the audio for you. Let's go ahead and I want to read this comment here from Deborah. You have some great insight. One of my family members did a certificate program, less than $1,200, and works for an employer who will now pay for more education.
Love that.
That's brilliant.
That's how you do it right
there.
That's
brilliant. And the Brandy the Bookworm says, I went to community college in Albuquerque, and a few years ago attended Harvard Divinity College online. And so a lot of people, it's whatever kind of fits what you want to do in life, right? We're going to take a quick break here for a quick moment. We're coming up on a commercial break. Let's go ahead and show you this beautiful shot here. I know where this is. Do you know where this is, Steve?
I don't.
I think I do anyway.
Is this a second mystery cam?
And Brian knows too. He's raising his hand. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. And beautiful shot here of a pretty special city, part of the country, celebrating 250 years.
Yes, 250. So that's your little hint right there. I love that this has become a second mystery cam for us here.
Yeah.
We've already got guesses rolling in right now with Seattle here from Paul Humphrey.
Yeah.
Which is a good guess.
Brian, where did you say this was, buddy?
National Harbor.
National Harbor.
And yeah, National Harbor.
DC.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I wonder what time. Oh, it's called the National Wheel.
Can I reveal something about myself?
Capitol Wheel. Go ahead.
About Capitol Wheel or all of these wheels. Ferris wheels terrify me.
I like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Is that count?
That's very good. You can take. You know what? Why didn't Ferris Bueller's Day Off go on a Ferris wheel at any point?
Oh,
that was low-hanging fruit they missed on that one.
That's still a classic film.
Yeah.
It so good.
Holds up entirely.
Yeah.
And I love everything I know about Matthew Broderick now.
Yeah.
Because he is not Ferris Bueller as a person. But he played that role so well.
I know he did. And the scene where he puts the pillows and pretends he's sleeping.
Man, didn't we all want to do that as a kid?
Yeah, it happened in my house. My son did it. That's for another time.
Did it work?
Yes, it worked. It worked. But we discovered that the pillows were there. We're like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
All right, anyways, you know who I know didn't do that because she is on top of it is Bella. She's in the BNR here this morning, and she's got a great story coming up here. Hey, Bells, good morning. Good to see you.
Hello, good morning. How are you two?
We're doing great. I know you're covering the latest when it comes to Arizona's Attorney General.
Yes. So the latest news that we have coming out of the BNR is that Attorney General Chris Mays is suing a major healthcare data company called Multiplan. And in addition to suing them, they're also suing 8 other major insurance companies, and this includes companies such as Aetna and Cigna. So the situation is essentially that Attorney General Chris Mays is claiming that these companies have teamed up with each other to make prices essentially so much more expensive for patients like you and I. So the claims are that they're accusing these companies of lowering payments to doctors for out-of-network care, and they are artificially inflating their own profits. So when this happens, they accuse the prices of becoming so much lower in pay towards these doctors, but the doctors still have to cover these payments. So then for the patients, things become so much more expensive. So in short, Attorney General Chris Mays is putting out this lawsuit that claims that big insurance companies are using a shared computer program to secretly agree on low payouts for those out-of-network care, making themselves richer while patients, the residents of Arizona, with unfair medical bills. Now, in a statement, Multicare, that big company that they're suing, did release a statement which they told to our Fox 10 team, and that I have here, I can read. It says, "We are aware of the complaint filed by the Arizona Attorney General against Multiplan and strongly disagree with it. The allegations are without merit, and the company stands by its position that it complies with state and federal antitrust laws."
All right, Bells, let's get right to the sound for you.
A shared algorithm to set payments. These companies harmed doctors and patients alike, driving up out-of-pocket costs and making it harder for Arizonans to get the care that they needed.
Yeah, so that's the latest in terms of that, but we'll see where this goes.
I mean, another story where we talk about AI again and getting involved in so many different things there. Important to note, though, I mean, these are major companies, and they responded immediately after this press conference by just immediately calling this false, no truth. There's got to be some evidence of something for them to file this lawsuit, though. So it'll be interesting to see how this all sort of plays out, because it could have massive ramifications.
It really could.
If Mays is right on this and wins this lawsuit, it changes a lot about how this pricing goes forward.
So true. Bella, thank you. Good to see you. Thank you so much. We are talking about AI when it comes to your health care. There is a new study revealing that more young people are turning to AI to cope with emotional stress.
Come on.
Yes, researchers found nearly 20% of adolescents seek mental health advice from AI chatbots. They also found that the vast majority of surveyed teens found the chatbots helpful So it makes you think what they're saying. Experts are now sounding the alarm, warning that AI is not designed to safely navigate mental health crises or replace real medical professionals.
Anytime you have a conversation with one of these chat bots for anything at work, I feel like we see this too. You see where it goes off the rails, where it's like, oh, okay, you got the essence of what humanity is a little bit, I guess, but you've made it all gobbledygook. I can't imagine if you're going to it for mental health advice, it means you're having a moment, right? And you need help with that moment. How you can trust a computer to come up with a solution there for you or guidance, that's so rough. And one of my favorite things to follow on Instagram and social media are all these people that use AI and show the absurdity that AI is and how it's not there yet. Sergio is a guy out there. I'll give a shout out to him where he's a director, and so I think he directs commercials. So he directs AI commercials and puts in prompts to have it play out the scenes, and hysterical results. And he's very funny with it too. But it's a reminder of, okay, this is really cool tech. It's not there yet, though.
Right. And there are a lot of crises hotlines where you can call and actually get some real help, if you're having a moment. And I think it's a really quick reminder, too, as a mother of 3 teenagers, like, talk to your kids. And sometimes I will purposely not put the radio on in the car. And then even if there's straight silence for most of the ride, we're pulling into, like, the neighborhood. And next thing you know, they open up and start talking, or it gives them an opportunity. Like they're like thinking about something. And I'm like, absolutely no AirPods and absolutely no headphones on in the car. Like if you're going to listen to music, we're going to listen to it as a family. Or we're going to have a conversation.
I love that. I think it's so important to have those ground rules set up that this is a space where we are together. It's like the dinner table. When we get around the dinner table, this is what we're doing right now. We're not on our phones here at the table. Our kids are different ages. So my oldest is 7, but he's in elementary school now and has normal elementary school situations. Not everyone's best friends, right? And I have found so interesting with him is we read him books, sing him a song. He goes, and we go to bed. And it's so human instinct after that to just want to get out of the room. I've got to go do the dishes. I got to do that. I got to go to bed for work the next morning. But if you give it a little pause, I find all of a sudden he'll just say the craziest thing. And then that sparks a whole conversation about his day that I had no idea about.
And it makes it even more memorable. Right?
Just
like you remember that.
I do. And so it's just leaving those little pauses like that. And I think that that's true with a teenager. That's true with us. That's true with anyone. If you leave that little pause, it's human nature to want to fill that. And typically we want to fill it with something we're thinking about.
I know. Would you all want to take a pause right now?
Let's take a pause.
Let's take a pause. How are you feeling?
You know how I'm feeling? I'm hungry. And
I am too.
We had a great question from Brandy up there. She asked us where in town has the best breakfast burritos.
Oh, that's hard.
It's an impossible thing to really answer because there's so many good ones.
I have an idea, but you go first.
I was going to say I've got 2 options for 2 different moods. Carolina's I love.
Delicious.
The original, I mean, the chorizo one there.
It's OG.
OG. Phoenix Burrito House. Their house favorite that they have, that's just a great classic breakfast burrito. I love it.
On Indian School, north of Indian School on 7th Avenue. It's been a while since I've been there.
Love that place.
I was going to say one of the best breakfast spots is Fame. They have a really great chorizo burrito. It's fire. It's so good. And they serve it with like this little cup of like tomatillo salsa.
Ooh, the salsa's
Do you go
key.
red or green on the salsa?
I go red every time. I only go green if I finish the red, and they gave me a red and a green.
It's so good.
Fox 10 Talks now a food podcast, by the way. We'll really get into it. If I can give another shout out too, right across the street, Cocina Adamex.
Oh, that's right. They
love that place.
There are a lot of really good breakfast spots are in and around Central Phoenix and all over town.
It's a great food city.
Throw up your favorites.
Does not get the credit it deserves as a food city.
Really that is a really great question.
Really appreciate that, Brandy the Bookworm. That was not on our schedule of things to talk about. But you know what? We gave it a pause. And it opened up that conversation.
Something great happened. All right, we are going to talk about also, speaking of food, now we're going to move on to drink. We're talking about FIFA. A lot of the bars are staying open longer, apparently. Bars are getting closer. Bar owners across the country getting ready to stay open longer than usual. Lawmakers in a lot of states are signing off on the extending the bar and restaurant hours during the world's most watched sporting event. A lot of legislators are saying they want to help businesses and improve fan experiences. It's also expected to bring in extra business in the cities that are hosting the actual games. So, of course, as you know, Fox 10 is the home for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Kicks off 1 week from Thursday on June 11th. I don't know how I feel about that in Phoenix, because then you got people driving around at like 4 a.m. or whenever the games are over. But I will say, if you're out celebrating your own team in a city that's hosting the games, that's going to be amazing.
Does it change the liquor laws, though? Can they serve
That's a
alcohol
good question.
at those different times, or if they just stay open? I'm curious how that works. I'll tell you this. Some of my favorite memories, sports memories, was when I was in a small town in Texas for my first job, and
Which
the World
town?
Cup was happening. Wichita Falls, Texas.
Okay.
Shout out. The World Cup was going on, and the bars were open around the clock because of that.
Around the clock?
Around
Like
the
they didn't close? Or like maybe 6 a.m. or
It didn't
something?
feel like they closed.
Yeah.
Yes, they stayed open as long as I could keep my eyes open. But it was so fun to watch those games in a communal environment at like 3 a.m. You know, games were starting. It was so fun. And then that was the start of I Believe That We Will Win chants. And that's one of my favorite chants. That is so fun.
It is.
Great.
And it is very reminiscent of what the rest of the world does.
Yes.
Like when you look at other parts of the world, their bars don't close at 2. They open at midnight.
Yeah.
You know, people go out late. They have dinner at like 10:30 at night.
In places like Barcelona.
Barcelona.
I love
y
saying
Madrid.
Barcelona.
Yeah, and so it's kind of fun to watch, and if you're
It
a
is.
big soccer fan, we went to a Champions League game in Madrid a couple years ago. We just happened to be there when this happened between Madrid and Barcelona.
What a moment.
And it was like, I thought I was in like war territory. Like there were flares and flames and screaming and protests, and I was like, what is happening?
They make college football look tame.
They do. They do.
I will say this, and I think this is really important to note, since it is on Fox 10, we don't encourage you to go to the bars. We want you to stay home and watch it on your TV, as many TVs as possible watching it on our channel. That would be great.
Yeah, make some potato skins. and just have some drinks at home and have the whole family there.
Yes.
Thank you all for watching on this Tuesday, Steve. It's been a pleasure, my friend.
It's been a lot of fun.
So wonderful to work with you.
I appreciate. Should we do it again tomorrow?
Let's do it again tomorrow. We
Deal.
love our job here.
We do.
It's so much fun. And we're so glad that all of you are with us here on this Tuesday. Anita and Danielle are next, and we'll see you tomorrow and leave you with this beautiful shot here of our nation's capital.
Danielle's back.
I'm back. Day 2.
And you know what it is?
The blondes that babble. And 602 day.
Jam-packed show.
Oh.
Come on, Ty.
I had Taco Tuesday for the next
Ooh, that
segment,
sounds good because I'm getting hungry.
Me too.
We have some really serious topics to cover. You ready to get going?
Lots to get to.
So our first one is June is Gun Violence Awareness Month, and the statistics really are startling. So we're going to go right to our first guest. Hello, good morning, Dr. Maya. Is it Leggett? Okay, doctor, we cannot hear you. I don't know if it's on our end or if you're
there we
muted.
go. We got it.
Yeah, now we got it. Sometimes it just takes a few minutes.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
We can. So break it down for us then. What are the latest statistics when it comes to gun violence? And are we talking about any one specific type? Because sometimes gun violence could be strangers. It could be domestic. It could be children.
Yeah. So thanks for having me today. What we specifically wanted to talk about today was youth and gun violence and firearm safety. To a bigger topic. What we're really finding and why this has been so timely and so important for us to talk to you today is that over the last 4 years, for the children ages 1 to 17, gun violence is now the leading cause of death. It's surpassed car accidents and other accidental deaths. And so we really thought we would take advantage of June being Gun Violence Awareness Month and talk to you a little bit about a campaign called agreetoagree.org.
And doctor, what type of situations are we talking about? Are we talking about, kid-on-kid violence? Are we talking about, kids are finding weapons like this in their parents' home, getting a hold of them, hurting themselves that way? Or what are we talking about here?
Great question and way to break it down. So I think a lot of people, when they first think about gun violence and teens, they think about community violence. Some people call it gang violence. That's actually not the case here. We've been finding that has actually statistically been decreasing over the last couple of years. What is increasing now is just youths dying from either self-harm, accidental, and intimate partner violence, and gang violence is still there, but it's really the other two predominant issues that we're coming to you to talk about today.
So we have been talking about gun violence and children trying to educate for quite some time, whether it's in the classroom or whether we're educating parents. We've seen a lot of campaigns. Are they not working? Is there a disconnect? What is leading to these? Are they increasing these numbers? And is it fair to say that they're increasing?
Yeah, the numbers are definitely increasing again for both the self-harm and for just accidental shooting. Again, 1 to 17-year-olds, they are dying primarily of gun violence, and it is not community violence necessarily, or gang violence, what people call. What we're really trying to do is help start the conversation about what to do and how to be safe with guns if they're in the home. We're also trying to just normalize the conversation a little bit so it's not quite as taboo. It's okay that there are guns out there. It's okay if people are owning guns. That is their own decision. What we're talking about is how to make sure that those guns are safe. What we're finding is that, especially when we're thinking about kids and self-harm, their numbers of hurting themselves have really been increased by having access to loaded and unprotected, unsafe guns.
So who needs to be educated more then? Is it the teens and the kids, the parents, or the teachers? I mean, where do we start? How does this campaign work?
I think it starts with all of them. I think, I'm a mom and a trauma surgeon, and so I try to educate my children. We're not going to have complete control over everything that they interact with in the world. So really trying to just bring the topic up before it becomes a problem. Agreetoagree.org is a wonderful website from the Ad Council. What they really tried to do is they tried to break down the information. If you're a parent trying to talk to a teen, if you're a parent trying to talk to another parent about what their house is like, if they own guns, if they're safe with their guns. It even breaks down for healthcare providers as far as how to bring up these topics and how to have conversations with your patients if they show up in the office.
And if a family does not have guns in the house, how are these kids getting their hands on these weapons? Do we know, or is there any type of statistics about that?
As far as if it's not in the home, I don't have the statistics on that. I think that that's a variable way that you can obtain weapons. It's more, we're trying to control the controllables, if that makes sense. So if there's a gun in your house, make sure it's safe. Make sure it's locked up. Make sure it's unloaded.
We're going to play a little bit of video of this campaign, break down how it's going to work, who it's going to reach, and then once again, what the hope is here.
Really, it's trying to just bring up the conversation. So we're trying to say, again, people have different opinions about guns and gun ownership. That's not what we're trying to address here. What we're trying to address is how to keep them safe.
Awesome. Okay, one more time. How can people get a hold of you? How do they get this information?
Again, thank you again for having us today. It's agree2agree.org. Great website, really breaks down some really helpful information.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Great topic. Be safe.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to wait for our next Zoom guest. We're going to talk a little bit, I guess, politics. I don't want to talk about, one side of the aisle or the other. I think what is really interesting are some of the races that we have out there.
Yeah, and there's a lot. And we know every year it's going to be different in every spot. Like Arizona, maybe one, will have a great race or, a highly contested.
Yes, as they call it, the highly contested hot seat. Yes.
Exactly. And then you have, like what's going on in LA right now.
Correct.
Which is, it's everywhere. The Spencer Pratt, Karen Bass,
While we're waiting for that Zoom to come up, we're going to set the stage a little bit. So Spencer Pratt was essentially, I have a little bit of video, so we're going to play that. And Spencer Pratt was a reality TV star. He was on The Hills, which was a spinoff off Laguna Beach. And then his now wife was one of the main characters, essentially.
Heidi Montag.
Correct.
And she's always been in the public eye. And,
always, yes.
Always. And they kind of reemerged once the fires happened. I feel like that's when the both of them kind of, they've always been in the media and things like that, but they really came to the forefront after their house burned down.
In the Pacific Palisades fire. So she recorded a song, they re-released it, and he's been outspoken. So I want to introduce you guys to our next guest. Hi there, Bo. How are you?
Hi, doing great. Thank you for having me.
Good.
To be with you.
Kabala, is that correct? Bo Kabala.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so the Blondes Who Babble, not very political, but you can't help.
Vote for me. Or us, I should say.
Vote for one of the blondes. It doesn't matter which one. But
I never said that first thing you said. I never said that.
But you can't help but, I guess, notice what's happening with a lot of these races. Breakdown what's going on in L.A. and with Spencer Pratt and Mayor Karen Bass.
Absolutely. Well, I think Spencer Pratt is the breakout candidate. He's clearly coming from behind. He's having fun, and he's speaking to some existential themes. Of course, his house burnt down in the Palisades fire. He is addressing directly these issues people care about in Los Angeles, like homelessness, like affordability and energy. So he's the disruptor. Of course, Mayor Bass in that establishment incumbent lane. She's presenting herself as the candidate of safety and stability. But now she has a challenge from her left, not just her right in Spencer Pratt, but Cynthia Ramon, late challenge. And she's really presenting those Harvard, MIT, more technocratic credentials and saying just the way the city is governed and administered needs to improve. Fascinating race, three-way race for sure to get into the runoff. But my money right now is on Spencer Pratt. He's having fun.
Okay, so that's interesting then. You called him a disruptor. This isn't the first time. So California elected a actor, Schwarzenegger, for governor, Ronald Reagan, who went on to become president. So it's not, I guess, out of character for people in the Los Angeles area to maybe go this way, but times have changed.
Times have changed, so it's not out of character. And I remember the governor, that was quite a campaign against Governor Davis, and of course Ronald Reagan launching his political career in many ways in California. But to see this happening in Los Angeles, we probably have to go back, even more. So Richard in the 1990s, Pete Wilson in the 1990s is governor. So I think to see it in Los Angeles this dramatically, something's going on. There's a real shift potentially that's happening across the country, and California will speak loud and clear today, I think, on the city and state level.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people opposed to Spencer Pratt. You know, you have no political background, you have no, experience in government and law and all that things. But you look at President Trump, he didn't either. A lot of people, swung
Ronald
that
Reagan
way.
was an actor.
Exactly. And I think what he was saying, Spencer, I've watched a few of his interviews, he was saying that he doesn't believe Karen Bass, even with all of her political experience, has done a great job. So what's the difference, really?
Yeah, and if I can add to that, someone asked him a question. It's like, how are you going to do this? He said, I don't have to do it. I have to put the right people in place to do it.
Well, and he's certainly making that case, and that's a fair point. I think Karen Bass, any incumbent who in the 20s, I'm just making sure my author is working there, she's in the 20s as an incumbent, because that is the fair question. What have you done for the people of Los Angeles? What have you done on homelessness and when it comes to these issues? So I just think, okay, he doesn't have the civil servant CV, but who really wants that these days in the electorate? I mean, hunger for outsiders, for people who are authentic. He more than brings that. Our 14-year-old, not the most political person, but she saw her first Spencer Pratt interview, and you could tell she's engaged because he's appealing to people who maybe are not politicos. He was asked who's his favorite politician. He said, Jesus. Is that true or not? Who knows? But he's not being divisive, at least in that way. He's reaching people who haven't been in the process before, in my opinion.
We have a minute left. I know you wanted to talk about Paxton and Tallarico, Josh Shapiro and Susan Collins. We're not going to be able to touch on everything, but who do you want to predict winners in these races?
So, and thank you for asking. I think Ken Paxton, Attorney General, who's just unseated Senator Cornyn. This is a political earthquake. I mean, even people who were confident that he would win, did not expect, the 68-32 margin. So not only, I think, is that speaking to the growing influence of the grassroots in Texas and across the nation, but it's just a very significant race. I think you were asking about Susan Collins.
Yep, we got about 12 seconds.
So I think she will prevail. My money is on her. I mean, Graham Plattner, I think more problems emerge. You have to wonder about that the Democratic Party is not there. So I think it might be a better year for the Republican grassroots than people are expecting.
Okay, Bo, we'll touch base soon. Thank you so much. Great interview.
Good to be with you.
It is, what, Thursday?
Okay.
A week from Thursday?
Yes.
World Cup begins.
That's right.
I can't do math.
Football.
My entire family's really into soccer because
they are?
well, we're Polish.
Oh, okay.
So that's what we do over there. We play football.
I just remember all of my memories of, anything World Cup is when somebody makes a goal and it's goal. So we used to say, would have, championships of who can say it the loudest.
Are
and
we
the
doing that
longest.
right? Ready? Goal!
The competition always used to be who could do it the longest. Not
That's
the
right.
And the
longest. The longest, wins the game every time.
Well, we're both in long-term married relationships, so we can yell. We have lungs if you want to hear it. I'm just kidding. Welcome, James Torres. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you ladies doing?
Good. Good. You excited for the World Cup?
Oh my gosh, excitement is not even the right word. This is something we have been waiting for since I think 2018 in Russia, when these FIFA officials officially said that this was coming down our way, U.S., Canada, and Mexico. And finally, we are, 11 days or so, 10 or so days away from this getting started. Next Thursday is that 9 days.
I know. Neither one of us can do math. It's
Math
Tuesday.
isn't mathin'.
So tomorrow will be 8 days. Yeah, you're right, 9. So I heard someone on the radio today talking about who's going to take it all, and their prediction was France.
Yeah, that's the easy, lazy guess.
Okay.
You got a guy like Kylian Mbappe, who is the best striker in the world, and a number of other guys. We can go down France's roster and talk up and down how great they are. But I think as a collective group, they are not going to be the best team in the tournament here. My guess, it's going to be Spain, who have only ever won a World Cup once before, back in 2010, had a monster group of players then. This time around, they have a great young group. They have a guy by the name of Lamine Yamal, who is probably one of the youngest kids in the tournament here, who helped Spain win a Euro championship just a few years ago. The kid is a ridiculous talent. I mean, think Messi 2.0, the next generation. I think with him and a great line of defense that they have in the back, they have a solid chance to get that second star on their jersey.
And James, what does it mean for this coming to the United States? I mean, this is center stage right here in our backyard, and it's awesome, really.
Yeah, it's generational. I mean, we'll take you back to 1994, the last time that the United States hosted a FIFA World Cup, and then they were the sole host. This time we're sharing it with 2 other nations. But I mean, the '94 World Cup inspired an enormous generation of American soccer fans. People did not give a crap about soccer in 1994 and prior to that. I mean, 1990 was the first time that the U.S. had even qualified for the World Cup in decades. So 94 only being the second time that they get to see it with an American team, let alone on American soil. That was huge. You had some incredible personalities on the team. You've heard the name, I'm sure, Alexi Lawless, with his big, giant red hair. Marcelo Balboa also had some crazy hair. He also did some crazy bicycle kicks throughout the tournament that just made the sport look cool and fun and different in a way that I think Americans had ever been exposed to before. And not to mention, that '94 tournament launched Major League Soccer, which is the top one Division I professional soccer league that we all will follow and care about today. So if that's all what came out from '94, we could only imagine modern day, modern technology, with the access and exposure across the world, what 2026 could possibly do, not just to the game, but to the game in America. We'll have to see.
We have, I think it's the men's, the Turkey team they're practicing essentially here in Mesa, Arizona, so not far from where we are. And they're selling tickets, and they're already sold out to one of their practices, and you can meet the players and get autographs. Yeah. But I mean, that's just Mesa, Arizona. So you're thinking about everywhere else, all the other teams that are just practicing, and how many people that's drawing. And you have people from all over the world, as you mentioned, coming into the U.S., to the L.A., to Arizona, to just catch a glimpse. We have a producer who's going to San Jose to watch Paraguay and Switzerland, and he said he bought a ticket for $200, which is pretty reasonable for something like this, and he just can't wait to go.
Yeah, oh my gosh, you could go to a match where not a single player on the squads and still have the best time because it's World Cup soccer. It is the highest quality of this game that you could possibly watch. I'll tell you, here in the San Francisco Bay Area where I'm joining you, where we'll have that Paraguay-Switzerland match, Paraguay and Australia are each having some of their camps here, and they're doing the same thing. Tomorrow, Australia is opening up their practice to a bunch of people, and they did it in a lottery. You entered a lottery.
Oh, wow.
You won the lottery. You get the chance to go. And let me tell you, when it comes to the Australian men's national team, a lot of women entered that lottery.
Oh, I better look this one up.
in their backyard. Paraguay's going to do the same thing down in San Jose, just about 40 minutes from where we are, and have an open practice and an open session on Monday. My parents live down in South Florida. Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the most famous names in the world, they're holding their camp down in West Palm Beach. So, even if you don't get the chance to go to a match and you have to resort to the TV for all of these things,
that's okay because it's here on Fox. It's here on Fox.
It sure is, all summer long, by the way, all summer long. And there's this 17-day period where we're just getting match after match after match after match. So, if there's ever a time to get involved with the game, be a fan of it, and also support Team USA because they have a pretty good squad entering this thing. It's now.
Okay, James, a great convo. Thank you so much. We have to go, but one more time. Are you guys ready? Goal on 3, 2, 1. Goal!
You gotta put your arms up.
All right, James wins. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys take care.
Oh, that was fun. Okay, I'm really excited about watching I think
it's so fun.
Here's what I like as well is that a lot of these games will be like starting at midnight, overnight, because of how and where they're being played. So for us, that's early AM.
Yeah.
We can catch a lot of that.
Yeah, we'll just go to bed at 3 p.m. Wake up at noon.
Or not go to bed because we'll just come straight into work.
And then we will be kicking soccer balls down
We've got a couple comments. Thomas Brown says, I must admit soccer is not at the top of my list of sports to follow, but when it's World Cup time, I'm all in, looking forward to all the games. I really am too. And then we have Murphy who's asking about cutting off guests. We're not. We politely try to let everyone know we have a hard break. We do have a hard break. And unfortunately, when we're doing these types of Zoom interviews, there's really no way to interact except to say, sorry, we have to go. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay,
All
one
right,
more
next
guest because it's jam-packed. You want to do the intro, Danielle?
Yes. David Chokachi.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Hello.
Wow.
Great. How are you guys?
You look like you're somewhere fun in the sun or a beach or where are you?
I am in Malibu, California.
Oh, rough life.
No fair. Hey, listen, so a lot of people know you from a lot of your acting. You have a great acting career, including Baywatch.
That's right.
But I think what you do with the Wings of Rescue is so amazing. Danielle and I are both huge animal lovers.
That's right.
Oh my God, that's the best. I love it. I've made so many real connections in life just because of Wings of Rescue. And honestly, I mean, I love acting, but there's the personal reward I get after flying 190 dogs that are going to be euthanized the next day. You're saving their life. There's just something. It's so much deeper. It's profound. I feel like I'm at a place in my life where I have a 14-year-old daughter. I want to leave the planet a better place than it was every day. I try and improve upon myself and improve and inspire people. And these flights of Wings of Rescue is amazing. We're not only flying dogs that are going to be euthanized, but they are the only group that flies into active natural disasters and pulls dogs out because there's a huge displacement problem. So to be actually, to give my time, it's 30 hours of no sleep. It's a cargo plane. There's no bathroom. But I love all of it because it moves your soul and it fills your, there's nothing else that fills me up like these flights, and they're just amazing.
How long have you been with the organization?
Since the Palisades fire, 2 years.
Okay.
So I started, and I've flown. We've been all over. We just got back from Puerto Rico, the Bahamas. We've been out of St. Kitts, and then a lot. California, Texas, and Florida, the 3 worst states for overcrowded shelters and where there's the biggest crisis happening. And then they're always on standby. So if a hurricane comes, they'll go set up in wherever the closest or they can be to that hurricane where it's hit, and they'll fly every day in and out. They'll fly in supplies, like to that unfortunate incident down in Texas for those girls. They were flying like humanitarian aid, veterinarian aid, dog food, cat food, everything on the way in, and then they were flying dogs and cats out because there's nowhere to put them. And unfortunately, in these big events, our pets are they're not an afterthought, but it's first, obviously our family with the kids, and then everybody goes, oh my God, what about our dog? And then it's like, by that time, it's almost too late. You got to have a plan. And luckily they're so well versed in this area that when these things are happening, they're already like, all these things are in motion.
David, we have about 2 minutes left. We have to ask you about the new Baywatch because this is really exciting.
Super exciting.
Well, tell us all about it.
Okay, well, I'm playing Cody again, which is awesome. And I looked it up because I thought I might be the longest. I'm not sure if they count from when you started or when you finished. So I wrapped in 1999, and I'm picking up in 26. So I was on ChatGPT to see if I was the longest reprising a role. I'm pretty sure I'm like in the top 4. So, but it's awesome. It feels like we have there's such enthusiasm for the show from Fox, from Fremantle, from everybody involved. The cast is, it's a blend. It's actors, it's kind of influencers, but yesterday we shot the scene, and Cody owns a bar. It's called the Shoreline that I run, and I also mentor the younger lifeguards. But I'm also the next episode I go back into act like I'm an active lifeguard. I'm in my Reds, so we're shooting my bar all day yesterday, and it's the scene, and I'm handing out shots, and we're cranking music, everybody's dancing, and it was like, wow, okay, this is Baywatch in 2026.
Not too shabby. Where's our invite?
Yeah, very nostalgic.
Hey, come on down. It's the Shoreline. That's the name of the bar.
30 seconds. When are we going to be able to watch?
January 2027 on Fox. It'll premiere on Fox primetime, and then it's going to roll over the next day and live on Hulu. So if you miss it, you can always go there and watch it. But it's an outstanding cast, led by Stephen Amell, Hassie Harrison from Yellowstone. It's
It's awesome. It's great.
My boy Thaddeus Legrand, I got to mention him. I love him. And Mick G is involved. He directed the first episode, and he's putting style on this thing.
Oh, we can't wait to see it. We're not going to. I said we can't wait to see it. We're not going to miss it. Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye.
Thanks, David.
Maybe we'll do this again.
You got it. When it starts in January. Cool. Bye.
Good morning, and thanks for staying with us here on Fox 10 Talks. It is 11:30 already, you guys, and I love it. All of our regulars are in the chat, pretty active this morning, and a beautiful shot of downtown Phoenix. It is another hot one today on this June 2nd. So Celeste is joining me today.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Nice to see everyone once again. Good to see you.
Yes, good to see you. Ron is off all week long. We hope he's enjoying his break from Fox 10 Talks and all the other shows. So if you were watching the show this morning, you probably saw this story that we were talking about. It's about financial literacy. So a new study finds that Americans' financial literacy has fallen to a 10-year low. The TIAA and Stanford University's Global Financial Literacy Excellence Center uses a 28-question test, and it assesses basic financial concepts. Well, last year, only 47% of people who took it actually passed. That is the lowest score in over a decade, and that's down from the high of 52% back in 2020. Low financial literacy, they say, could lead to obviously financial troubles, including high debt, among many other things. So to join us this morning to talk finances and more, we have Dr. Angela Sims, an assistant professor of sociology and urban studies at Columbia University. We thank you so much for joining us this morning, Dr. Sims.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So that story from our newscast, what is your reaction to that? Is that a bit surprising, or is that kind of what you're seeing from your studies as well?
I think that's about accurate. I think most Americans are making do with what they have. Even if you're in the middle class, often you don't have significant savings. You have some savings. Often for the middle class, if you can afford it these days, it's tied up in the value of your home. But you also have student loans, or you have various things that have leveraged you, shall we say, and so there's not significant discretionary income. And so we know that consumers often rely on credit cards and other forms of debt, which can very easily get ahead of people and cause them to get behind. And so that literacy, I think, reflects both a combination of education around literacy, so the direct kinds of education that people need to know those concepts that you're mentioning, but then also the ways in which people are financially constrained and making some decisions to just make ends meet and to meet all their financial obligations.
You know, you bring up a really good point on just people, working to make ends meet. And we have some questions in the chat this morning as well. We'll get to those in just a brief moment in our YouTube chat. But Dr. Sims, let's chat, if we can, for a quick moment. The American dream for a long, long time was to buy a home. And for a lot of Americans, that is not attainable right now for a myriad of different reasons. What are your thoughts on kind of like the ABCs of how we really can make that happen for a lot of people?
I think one of the big things we have to remember is that these are often structural issues that we often think of as personal financial decisions. And so one of the axioms, shall we say, of sociology is that private troubles are often public issues, meaning that they have a component of them that really needs to be resolved through policy. So we think about how we actually grew the middle class, how a broader swath of Americans even attained the ability to own a home, for example.
Mm-hmm.
That was a policy decision made by the federal government, where the Federal Housing Administration insured mortgages. And so that led to those fully amortized mortgages, so same payments over 20 or 30 years, low interest rates, 5% or so. And that was also tethered to an increasing number of people with white-collar jobs, which reflected more and more Americans with a college degree, or at least some kind of tertiary education. And so what we know is that there's an increasingly high cost of living. So that means that the cost of what it takes to make ends meet, as you were saying, is lower than the pace is lower than the pace of inflation.
Do you think
that what we're noticing then is just a series of issues that require the federal government, really, because that's the level of government that can bring it to scale,
right,
to support people's financial capacity.
Do you think it means that people need to move to a new city where housing would be more affordable in terms of purchasing a new home, or moving towards the outside of a metro area, for example?
I think whenever you move, there are always trade-offs. So I think about growing up myself in the DC metro area, and we lived in what was then the exurbs of the DC metro, so Prince William County, so about 30 miles south of DC. And I remember whenever I was sick, Mom and Dad would take me to my grandma's house in Northeast DC. So whenever you move further out, often you're moving away from your social network, whether that's family, church, And it's going to cost you usually with time. So you're paying either with your time or your money. So you're going to pay along with a longer commute, which means less time with your family, even for the discretionary time with your family, as well as the emergency where you might need to have that network to hold things together when things come up that are unexpected. So I think that is one solution, but I think we should not be naive about the fact that there are also trade-offs that people have to make if they move further out. I live in New York City, and so I am very familiar with the high cost of living. And so I often ask my students, how many of you all want to move to Montana or Utah?
Everybody raises their hand.
Lower cost of living, and most of them want to live in D.C., New York, San Francisco, because that's where a lot of the jobs are that the students of Columbia want. So I think that's why the cost of living is high, because there's always demand. As soon as one New Yorker moves out because they can't afford it, someone else says, it's okay, I'll move in and take
I'll
my
take
roommates, right? And so, here we are, or at least if you're young enough to be willing to tolerate 5 roommates.
You're right. Yeah,
and hopefully you like each other.
And relocating may not always be the option, because like you said, that's, some of these metropolitan areas, that's where the jobs are, and those higher paying jobs. Right. So even if you do move, you might be making less, and then, it doesn't really balance out that way. So can you tell us a little more about your book? It's Fighting for a Foothold. So you look closely at Prince George County, Maryland in particular, where they have a very high concentration of the black middle class. But you say that even though that is the case, black communities still often face financial challenges despite high levels of education. That is surprising to me. Why is that?
I think one of the important things to remember is, as I was mentioning before about private troubles and public issues, is that we have to account for the fact that Black Americans have never been made whole from what happened during the slave era and what happened during the Jim Crow period. And so even though we had what we often call the modern civil rights movement with the triumvirate of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Fair Housing Act of 1968, Voting Rights Act of 1965, those laws really just essentially said you can no longer going forward discriminate against people on the basis of race. But it did not correct for the fact that white Americans have been given a head start for centuries in terms of wealth accumulation. And so what that means is that at the household level, the neighborhood level, and the local jurisdiction level, so that's where my book really centers, the local jurisdiction level, and the capacity of those local jurisdictions to raise sufficient tax revenue for public goods and services. So your roads, your schools, your clean drinking water. What I'm finding is that because Black people and Black neighborhoods have been underinvested in and extracted from and not receiving the same kinds of supports as white Americans, they still fall behind because they essentially can't compete because intergenerationally they don't inherit wealth. And we know that Black Americans are still discriminated against in employment and other sectors. So you essentially have a headwind on top of the fact that white folk have a head start.
So what's it going to take then? You mentioned a couple of generations, that they have had kind of these setbacks. What is it going to take to allow some of these, forward-moving movements within the Black community? What does it take?
I think there's low-hanging fruit and there's higher-hanging fruit. So the lower-hanging fruit, I think, is to remember that we are living in the downstream of policy decisions that Presidents Reagan and Nixon and then Reagan and subsequent Republican administrations, and to some extent Democratic administrations, but largely Republican administrations, in terms of just cutting the amount of tax revenue that the federal government was bringing in. So they're cutting transfers to state governments, and then state governments then have less to transfer to their local jurisdictions. And so one thing to remember is we can always raise our taxes. And actually, a majority of Americans across both parties agree that we should raise taxes on wealthy people and on corporations. So with more money in the public fisc and then allocating it not toward policing and military and what we might call social control, but rather in pro-social measures like schools, hospitals, roads, bridges, recreation, the things that we know actually build people's human and social capital, you actually get to some of the things I'm talking about. And then what you do is you target those kinds of investments toward people who have had less of that over time. So that would be Black Americans, Latino Americans, Indigenous Americans, because we have the records to show that those people have not had the same kinds of opportunities as white Americans on average.
And you're interacting with the next generation every single day in class. We're just going to close out with this. How do they feel? Are they optimistic about the future, their opportunities, whether that be career-wise, and do they generate some really good ideas to maybe solving some of these solutions or some of these problems?
Yeah, I think overall they're optimistic. I think they're concerned about the things we might all be concerned about, like AI and climate change, and the ways in which this administration has created a certain amount of increasing rapid change that makes it hard to adapt. But I think overall they recognize that the torch is being passed to them. And so I think what college does, or at least I hope as a professor, is we walk alongside young people to equip them with the skills, with the perspectives, with the ways of being and knowing that allow them to meet the challenges with courage and with resilience. And so I think, one of the big policy solutions at the high-hanging fruit is reparations, which would really mean that we would it amounts to reimagining our society to think about what it means to build an America designed for everyone to flourish, not the flourishing of the few at the expense of the many. It's startling to me that we have 400 billionaires with a B and 40 million people in poverty. And that's poverty. That's like, the very, very bottom. That's not people who are still experiencing other forms of economic distress.
Yeah,
So
so true.
That growing inequality is a sign that we really need to take a step back and really think about who America is for and what kinds of structures we need from government and markets to build that.
Well, I think you bring up a good point, and I think a lot of people can agree with you on this, is that we do, I think, need more help for our schools and our education system. And if that is where we can maybe turn the coin and turn the corner, I think that is really going to maybe where we're going to see some movement there when it comes to some of these families. Dr. Angela Sims, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much for your insight, and you've been just a joy to chat with, and we appreciate your taking some time with us today. So we hope to keep you on our quick call list.
Yeah, you are
because
a wealth of knowledge.
You've been wonderful. Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Sims.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you. All right, we're going to throw up the mystery cam today. Oh, or is this a big hint? I feel like people are going to guess this.
AT&T
This is the
Stadium.
mystery cam. Ron would know immediately. So this is, I suppose, the mystery cam for today, right, Dave? This is giving him a big clue. Okay.
All right, we're going to check with Dean Fazzini and check in on that. In the meantime, we're going to say a big hello to so many of you in the chat. Thank you so much for sharing part of your day with us. Thomas Brown, Levon, Cornello Collins, good morning to you. Hi, Jennifer and Darren Lloyd, Thomas Brown, of course, again, and Mr. Paul Valine. And yes, Dave just told us this is, in fact, the mystery camera this morning. So we're going to take a quick break this morning, and we so appreciate you sharing part of your day with us. Throw your thoughts in the chat, and we'll have the answer after a quick break.
All right, welcome back. Well, you guys have been very active with your guesses. I'm laughing at Darren, goes Tucson. But a lot of folks are guessing Texas.
And Chris A. Key says that's the Dallas Cowboy Stadium. So Big D did make a call to Dean Fazzini, and the camera was actually facing the other direction when he chose it. So, but then they moved it to this beautiful shot of AT&T Stadium, and so many of you guessed correctly, Arlington, Texas.
Yep.
There you go.
There you
so
have
well
it.
done.
I was going to say, Dean doesn't usually give us giant clues like this. So there you go. Count your blessings today. He made it easy on us. We're going to welcome you back to the studio here this morning. We have another guest here for you, Dr. Thomas Gillespie. Gillespie. Thanks for joining us. We're talking a rise in hernia cases here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Walk us through what you're seeing with patients.
So what we're seeing is more hernias in Phoenix and across the state. The state's growing. We're having many more people move into Phoenix.
Yeah.
The population is aging, but if you think about it, over a lifetime, people are going to have surgeries. And a lot of time, those incisions, especially if you have a diastasis, will turn into a hernia.
So let's back up if we can. What is a hernia?
So a hernia is literally a hole in your abdomen. Think of it like a cavity. You get a hole in your tooth, right? Doesn't necessarily hurt right away. But when it's small, you fix it. But over time, the hole can get bigger, and just like a cavity, you might need a root canal. So the bulge you feel is literally your intestines or your fat moving out of your abdomen through the hole into your skin.
How do you get a hernia?
Well, some people are kind of born with them.
Oh, interesting.
Like belly buttons. My joke is there's no such thing as an outie. All outies are a hernia. But having surgery through a midline, or people who have diastasis, core health issues, if they get an incision through their diastasis, many times it'll turn into a hernia, or a diastasis can tear and turn into a hernia.
And what is the problem with having a hernia? Because, or some of the symptoms from it, what can someone feel? Because you can live with it, but over time it's going to cause issues.
Great question. You can live with kind of anything, like you can live with a cavity until you need a root canal, right? So the thing about hernias is they don't really hurt. They're uncomfortable. Or a lot of people also have the core dysfunction that the hernia is part of, and so it doesn't bother them because it doesn't hurt them until it does, until it becomes big. And then kind of what I say is small problem, small solution. Hernias never fix themselves. All hernias need surgery.
Is there any way to prevent a hernia if you haven't had surgery? Or, is there any way, you mentioned core health, is there any way to prevent it by having a great core health, or not really?
Not really. If you're gonna get a hernia, you're gonna get a hernia. Obviously if you never have surgery,
that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. Obesity, losing weight will protect you from a hernia. But ultimately, once you notice a hernia, the hole is there. And the only way to fix it, it's kind of like a hole in your tire. You got to fix it.
Oh, yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, it's just slow.
It doesn't repair on its own.
Never does it.
So the only way is through surgery.
The only way is through surgery.
How do we know you have it?
So typically, you're going to feel a bulge. It's going to feel discomfort, and you're going to notice it. And sometimes you can push it back in, and you're like, oh my goodness, I have this little thingy here.
What about digestion? Does it impact someone's digestion?
Not when they're small, but if it gets bigger and your intestines are in it, you can have constipation, you can have bloating. The food can't move through because it gets caught up in the hernia.
Oh, wow. Because you mentioned that it moves out, or what happens in your abdomen?
So what happens is in your abdomen, the hole will get bigger, and then your intestines or the fat inside your belly will go through it. And what can happen is it can get stuck in the hole. And we call that incarceration or strangulation, and that's an emergency.
Wow.
So we like to fix them electively before they become that.
And what population are you seeing most of these cases in? Are you seeing a concentration in older adults?
I'm seeing it in both.
Folks who've had children? What are you seeing?
So both. There are young people who have small hernias, medium-aged, middle-aged people, my age, I guess, and they kind of ignore them. But then there's another population. There's another population that has severe hernias. They're sitting at home. They're uncomfortable. They're in pain. And they just don't see a doctor. And that's what we're trying to compel people to do, is if you have a hernia, you need to see a surgeon.
Or even if you don't know if you do and you have this wild pain happening in your abdomen, go see a doctor.
Well, always see a doctor if you're having
right?
pain.
Yeah.
Like, don't ask AI?
You know,
no, probably not the best
I
idea.
guess not. But AI's gonna tell you if you've got a hernia.
They could help. They could help guide you.
They're going to say, call 911.
But the only way to fix it is surgically. So are there different types of surgical processes to fix one? And can you walk us through maybe some of the newer innovations to repairing that?
Great question. So, first of all, robotics has changed the game.
Yeah.
Hernias that you would be in the hospital for 3, 4, 5 days, we can get you out same day, if not the next day. We can even do surgeries for hernias where we don't even enter the abdomen.
Wow.
Really? How?
Yeah. Well, we actually can insert the robot into the muscle, separate the muscle into its layers. I know, it's crazy. I turn the robot upside down and I can sew upside down from the inside. And then we slide a piece of mesh in there. I call it a grilled cheese sandwich. And the mesh holds you together. But more importantly, it restores your core.
Oh, wow.
And so people are 300% stronger. They have their balance back. Back pain goes away, and really, sometimes we say we don't reconstruct abdominal walls, we reconstruct lives.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Does the mesh dissolve?
No. The mesh we use, it's very good, and it's very helpful, and it really reduces the risk of having a hernia ever again. And most importantly, we're putting the mesh in the muscle, and that's the protective. It's not the old mesh that we used to use. It's new, it's good, it's innovative, and we try to use the right technique for the right patient.
You say it's been happening so much more often. Like, give us an idea of how many more patients these days you're seeing compared to maybe last year.
I would say I'm up 30% in volume this year.
Yeah.
And there's, there are a lot of patients out there. A lot of them are looking for second opinions. A lot of patients want state-of-the-art technology. There's a new innovation where we use Botox now
to
help close the abdominal wall, and that is really helping people recover faster and better. And so
that seems wild to me, like a concept I can't even understand.
I know, Botox.
Can you try to help us? How is Botox helping in this situation?
It's crazy. It's a great question. So think about someone with a diastasis where the muscle pulls away. Right? Now think of them, they've got a hole in it. The muscle pulls away even more. And I have to bring those muscles back together. So what we can do is we can Botox the lateral muscles. It relaxes them temporarily. And then I can bring them back together. Less pain, less disability, less time in the hospital, better operation, better outcomes. And we're doing it at the Dignity Health Hernia Institute. We're doing it at St. Joe's, and we do it for the right patient. It's a godsend.
It's pretty remarkable when you take a look. You mentioned the robotics, you mentioned Botox, and how you're utilizing things that have already been developed.
Putting them all together.
And putting them all together in this really unique combination.
And then, and there's one other thing, is we add rehabilitation. Because what I want to do is after I functionally restore you, now I want to physiologically restore you.
Give yourself a six-pack.
Well, never a six-pack, but it's about strength.
Yeah.
It's about being able to pick up your child and hold it when you're
and be able to balance, right? Because walk down the street or go for a run or a jog or whatever, it's amazing when you look at the importance of your core.
Yes.
How that is such a part of your daily life.
It's so underappreciated. And what I think about people with weak cores, as they age, they lose their balance and fall. And in the middle of it, they think, I just have a hernia, but it's more than a hernia. And that's what we do. We try to put it all together and really see it as a holistic solution to your core health. And I would love to call it core health and not just a hernia.
Yeah, I think that's so important. It makes it more of a holistic approach.
Yes,
Yeah, people may understand it a little bit better too, right?
Yeah, these are great questions.
Thank you.
Well, I'm actually curious about your day-to-day. How many cases are you doing a day? Or I'm sure there's days you do surgeries and days.
Yeah,
hours,
it depends. So I do a lot of just the small, like early access patients. Like I have a hernia, Dr. Gillespie. I want to take care of it now. But if I'm doing a big case, that could be 4 or 5 hours. So I do, I don't know, 8 or 9 a week.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Gillespie, you've been such a wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much.
you.
Thank you for taking care of our community.
Oh,
thank you.
pleasure.
Because you go through all that schooling and everything, and it's you're doing good out there. So thank you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
If someone wants to reach out to you, schedule an appointment, they're interested, where do they find you?
Dignity Health Hernia or St. Joseph's Hospital.
I think we're going to call you the Core
Easy
King.
enough.
Core King. He's the Core King, because helping us strengthen it up. Thank you so much,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Gillespie. Thank you.
Well, this was an exciting story that we shared with you all on our newscast this morning. The Arizona State Fair, which, by the way, is only 4 months away. Can you believe it?
Oh, my goodness, it's coming up quick.
It feels like it just ended, and here we are. It's starting again. So we now know who 2 of the headliners for the Coliseum Concert Series are. So we have the Gin Blossoms taking the stage at Veterans Memorial Coliseum on October 2nd. And do you want to announce the second one that we know?
It is going to be, well, what does it say here? Russell Dickerson will headline on October 17th. I was just stuck on the fact that the Gin Blossoms are going to be here because they're from Tempe, Arizona, my hometown, and they have actually been in studio with us here on AZAM, and they are an amazing band. So Gin Blossoms and then Russell Dickerson.
You're a big fan of them?
Yes,
What do you like
absolutely.
by the Gin Blossoms?
All of it. All of it's so good. Yeah, they're really great. You can sing along with the music, and you can dance